I see we got some great things starting to percolate in Kenya.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Early this morning.
That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. All righty. Welcome to the call, everybody. Excited, obviously, to be back on live with you guys. I'm starting to get the hang of this whole technology thing, doing the calls on Facebook Live and making sure that everybody can stream in. And obviously those that cannot dial in, you can stream in live here on Facebook Live. Do me a favor, make sure you're sharing this information, sharing it with your teams, tagging people in this video. Tonight's topic, today's topic, wherever you're watching, is going to be so revelatory to where you are in your business, especially as we're rounding off the final quarter of the year of our Lord 2017. So excited. Welcome to the call. Who just joined us? Welcome, everybody. Let us know where you're calling in from. LA, Los Angeles in the house. Welcome to the call, sir. Guys, do me a favor. If you're just logging on, we've got people on the conference call bridge. We've got people right here on our Facebook Live pages all throughout social media. If you're just joining us, do us a favor. Let me know where you're joining in from. I always go back to review the comments and to be interactionary with our approach here. So welcome to the broadcast. Welcome. Who do we have on? Welcome. Good to have everybody on tonight. Absolutely excited. Tonight's topic is going to be phenomenal. I'm excited about your future. All righty. I think it's the top of the hour. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let me put us in a recorded mode here.
Conference muted.
There we go. Let's see here.
Entry notice off.
Okay, good deal.
Conference recording.
Okay, beautiful. Well, welcome everybody to the call tonight. If you're in the United States of America, for all of you all across the world, we have so many people because we live stream our calls now, or have been doing so for the last several weeks. It's been truly awesome to see all of our business partners, those of you that are abroad, over in Europe, in Africa, over even in Asia, Australia, many of you that are logging in, letting us know where you're calling in from and chiming in from. It's exciting to really be able to give you this information so everybody is on the same page. I want to welcome you to our broadcast tonight. This is, of course, your featured trainer tonight, none other than Jared Wilkins, Global Director here within Total Life Changes, $500,000 ring earner, multiple seven-figure earner within the network marketing profession. My wife and I have been so blessed and fortunate to have been a part of some very strong successes within our career here. Two separate businesses that we've built to more than 20,000+ people. And we're excited to share from a practical experience how we've actually done many of these things. I know we get so many people all around the world that we work with, many of you that we've been working with, a lot of new people, because we're growing to the tune of 15, sometimes even 2,000+ people a month, every 30 days, that are becoming a part of our family. And we're obviously excited about that, always expanding in all ways. And so we're excited about tonight because I get a chance to talk about, one of my favorite topics, which happens to be about leadership. Everything, as John C. Maxwell talks about, everything rises and falls on leadership. Let me say that again. He says everything rises and falls on leadership. Whenever you see an organization that is succeeding at a high level, you have to look at the reason why that's taking place. And typically, it is because of the leadership that has been assembled, that has been developed, that has been attracted. And so I've always used that as the caveat. I've always used that as the barometer to where and how an organization is growing. When you look at a company or you look at a team, you look at an organization that is not growing, one that is maybe going in the opposite direction in terms of momentum, having momentum in the opposite direction, because I want you to write this down, please. Nothing is ever stagnant. Nothing is ever stagnant. It's either growing or it's dying. Okay? Nothing in business is ever stagnant. It's either growing or it's dying. I heard one mentor of mine say, if you're green, you're growing. If you're red, you're rotten. Okay? If you're green, you're growing. If you're red, you're rotten. So, because of that, I've always looked at leadership. I've always studied leadership. I've studied leaders to see not necessarily perfection, because I've come to discover that there are no perfect leaders because there are no perfect people. But there are principles that are applied, and when you and I apply them to our life, to our business, it will certainly take your life and your business to the next level. And so tonight I want to talk about leadership, and for subcontext, especially on this broadcast here, you'll see it. It says how to attract and develop leaders. How to attract and develop other leaders. Now, one second here. The mere fact that I say other leaders, it simply means, it brings emphasis to meaning, that word other, that you yourself have been developed. Okay? Because I want you to write this down. You cannot start attracting until you become attractive. Did you hear me? You write it down, please. You cannot start attracting until you become attractive. Now, how do you become attractive? You become attractive through a series of what we call a process. That's how you become attractive in our business. It does not negate, nor does it relegate you to just books, CDs, and attending events. Some people think, okay, how I'm going to become attractive is I'm going to become a better speaker. I'll become a better orator. Is that important? It is, especially when you start to lead a larger team. You want to be able to effectively communicate, because as Bishop T.D. Jakes teaches, communication is very interesting in that most people think they're communicating, but most of us are not communicating because we are not getting across a message that's being received. Yeah, all true communication must be received. How do you know it's been received? When things are becoming replicated, okay? Now, when you look at this whole nuance of leadership development, when you look at this, a lot of people kind of shy away from leadership because they think leadership has to be bold, it has to be outgoing, it has to be out front. And that's not necessarily the case when it comes to true leadership. When I look at developing or even attracting other leaders, I told you it's a process. You have to develop yourself as a leader. Well, Jared, how in the world do I develop myself? Because I can only attract, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say a level 1 leader is someone who is not influential and not effective in communication. And a level 10 is highly influential and can highly communicate. If I'm a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, I will not attract a level 6 or level 7 leader. It just doesn't work that way. You've heard it said before, but that birds of a feather flock together. Okay, birds of a feather flock together. What does that mean? Like minds attract. So you will see in our business, there's certain people that sometimes some of you may have talked to about the business. And guess what? Maybe it didn't resonate. Maybe they didn't join with you. Maybe they didn't take it as seriously as you were giving it. And what typically takes place is we take these things personally. I said on last week's broadcast, when you get into your feelings, you abort your finances. When you get into your feelings, you abort your finances. So many of us, we allow our feelings to get us in a position where we cannot succeed financially. So you cannot be so enthralled with your feelings whereby you do not and cannot get the finances out of the way. I've always told people, make sure you keep the main thing the main thing. As a leader, there are going to be people you don't like in your business. They're going to be people, yes, there are going to be some people that you do not like, you do not get along with. It's like your oil and water. There are going to be some people that betray you in your business. And as a matter of fact, I want you to write this down. Not all people that betray you are wicked. Some of them are just weak. Did you hear me? Write it down, please. Not everyone that betrays you is wicked. Some of them are just weak. In other words, you're going to have people that in your business, in our business, they're going to manipulate. They're going to lie. They're going to ostracize. They're going to say things about you. They won't talk to you, but they will talk about you. They're going to attempt to assassinate your character. They're going to justify an attempt to bifurcate and usurp your leadership and your influence, because leadership, boiled down to its common denominator, is influence. And I want you to write this down. An enemy, I want you to hear me, an enemy is anyone that tries to sabotage your influence on purpose. An enemy is anyone that tries to sabotage your influence and silence your voice. They sabotage your influence on purpose. They didn't mean it. They didn't do it accidentally. There's some people that will sabotage your influence accidentally, and I call people like that casualties of war. But by definition, I want you to write this down. An enemy is anyone that tries to sabotage your influence and silence your voice. I'm talking about leadership tonight because I want to talk to you from a position whereby you understand how you're going to attract leaders and how you're going to develop the leaders that you've attracted into your business. Because leadership is not about people following you. That is not the substratum of leadership. Leadership has everything to do with personal leadership first. Your personal leadership first. Dr. Miles Monroe used to say that leadership is the capacity to influence people through inspiration, not manipulation. Yeah, leadership is, I want you to write that down, please. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration. That inspiration is motivated, hear me, by a vision. Yeah, inspiration, your ability, it is the capacity to influence others through inspiration motivated by a vision. Birth through purpose. Are you listening to me? And so when you look at leadership, after tonight's training, I want you to look at leadership not as a noun. Yeah, because a noun by definition describes a person, place, or thing. So we're not talking about leadership through the perspective of a noun tonight. I want to make this practical. I want this to be something that after tonight you can leave with what I call transferable truths, and you can apply them to your life. Now, when you look at leadership, I want you to look at that word leadership as a verb. All right? It is a verb. What is the purpose of a verb? A verb depicts action. All right? It depicts action. The root word of leadership is lead. To lead means to be in action, to be doing something. So sometimes we categorize leaders based on what John C. Maxwell calls the 5 levels of leadership. You've got positional leadership, meaning people follow you because of your position. Maybe you've hit a rank in your company. Maybe you're not even requalifying that rank, but they follow you because of your title. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to write this down. Never forget it. You cannot take your rank to the bank. Titles do not pay the bills. All right? Titles do not pay the bills. Your role as a leader, one of my objectives as a leader, as I'm developing as a leader, as a world-class leader, is to reduce my title to my last name. Yeah. I'm working daily to reduce my introduction to my last name. Oh, that's Wilkins. That's Mr. Wilkins. Not Dr., the Right Reverend, Bishop, motivational speaker, teacher, $1 million. No. All of that's fine. Those are adjectives, and I'm not against them. But some of the greatest leaders that have ever walked the face of the earth have been able to reduce their title to their names. Jesus, Mandela, King, Kennedy, Winfrey, Gates, Jobs. These are names that are synonymous with leadership in their field, in their area. And so likewise it is with many of us. We're going to have to do that. Now, when you look at this business, I want you to look at something very closely. Your ability to grow your volume will always be interdependent on your capacity to lead. Your ability to grow your volume, your sales volume, not your share volume. A lot of people say, oh, I'm not in sales. I'm in share. We don't sell our business. We share. Okay, that's nice. I like it. Sounds good. But it's called sales volume, okay? That word sales, it is the transference of belief. That's what it is. It means I am selling, or I am transferring my belief. Whenever I go in to do a meeting, yes, I'm selling. What am I doing? I am transferring my belief to those prospects. Because listen to me, people do not join companies. They join people. Are you listening to me? If people join companies, listen to me. If people join companies, then you and I would not be necessary. Yeah. If people joined your network marketing company, if people joined Total Life Changes, then you and I would not be necessary. Total Life Changes or whatever company you represent, guess what? They could just put up a billboard and people will join. And things will grow and things will happen. But it takes me back to our first point where I said that everything rises and falls not on company, but on leadership. As a matter of fact, I tell people all the time, I would rather be in a bad company with good leaders than in a good company with bad leaders. Because if I'm in a bad company with good leaders, we can turn that thing around. We can get together. We can mastermind. As in the book Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the mastermind alliance. We can mastermind. We can, one mind and other minds coming together to create that third mind. That synergy, that energy together where we can lift things up. We can uncover. We can discover what are the nuances. What are the areas we can focus on. We can develop systems, and guess what? We can turn that thing around. But if we've got bad leadership, and when you have bad leadership in a company, here's the first thing that happens. When a new regime comes into place, the first thing that they do, I want you to hear me, the first thing that they do is they fire the head coach. They don't get rid of the team yet. They fire the head coach. If they're changing a company, guess what they do? Immediately, they get to the company, they fire the CEO. Why? Because decay starts at the head first. When you're leading in this business, you have to be able to identify who you're looking for. All right, I want you to start taking some more notes on this. Now I'm going to give you some practical things to look for. So we've talked about the psychology briefly. I've talked about the psychology of leadership, dealing with your mentality. I want you to write this down. It is your mentality that produces your reality. It is your mentality that produces your reality. In other words, if you're building within this business, remember, I always say we use our business to build people. We don't use people to build our business. Meaning your business ought to be the tool that you use to inspire, to influence, to equip, to educate, and to empower people. That's the purpose of the business. Your business, the products, those are not your products. That's the company's products. I don't own NutriBurst. I don't own the ISOT. These are phenomenal products. I don't own the NRG. You know what I own? I own leadership. Leadership. I own the responsibility of leading the team. How do you lead? Through example. Some people, they have a misnomer of what leadership actually is. And so we'll talk about that. Now, you want to look for 4 types of people when you're leading. I told you want to be able to identify. And so many times in our business, one of the greatest talents to have is the ability to spot and recognize other talent. That's one of the skills you as a leader will have to develop, called talent scouting. They do it in every professional team. Well, Jared, when do I stop talent scouting? When will I get to a point where I no longer have to recruit? I don't know, but the NFL, they're always recruiting new talent. The NBA, MLB, all professional teams are always scouting for new talent. Why? I'm glad you asked. Trees do not grow to the sky. Did you hear me? Trees do not grow to the sky. What does that mean? That means people that are leaders will always reach what they call a lid. John C. Maxwell talks about that in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. There will always be a lid. Now, Jared, why are you qualified to talk about leadership and network marketing? Because I'm a leader. That's why I'm qualified to talk about it. It's not something I've just read in a book. Have I read some of these concepts and practicalities and nuances from books? Have I attended seminars? Of course. Have I read the books? Of course. Have I listened to the audio CDs? Of course. You can too. But here's the deal. You have to listen. You have to read. You have to study. Then you have to practice. And then you teach. That's what Jim Rohn taught me. He said, study, practice, teach. What happens with most leaders is we study, then we skip the practice part. We want to go teach. What is the practice? What does the practice look like? The practice looks like this. It is 10,000 hours. It is 10,000 hours of beating on your craft. 10,000 hours of paying your dues. 10,000 hours of going through the vicissitudes of building a business where, you put people in the business and they quit. It is going through the 10,000 hours where companies fail you or companies you thought would be here are no longer here, and you're a part of that taking place. I've been a part of companies, guess what, that are no longer here. Okay? I've had 4 of the 5 companies or 4 of the 6 companies, whatever it was, they're actually out of business. They're no longer in business in network marketing. That's why I told you people do not join companies, they join people. We've earned multiple millions of dollars in the network marketing profession. We've built teams collectively of tens of thousands of people. We've recruited hundreds of people into our businesses. Hundreds. We've personally sponsored hundreds of people. We've had people rank advance and become, high 6-figure earners within our own personal organizations. That's what qualifies us to be able to teach on these things. That doesn't mean we know it all. That doesn't mean we're the number 1 earners in any company. It doesn't mean that we've got it all figured out. Remember, there are 3 phases everybody grows through as a leader in this business. The first phase is I do not know everything, or I do not know anything. That's the first phase. If you're there, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The I don't know anything phase is the most profitable phase of your business. If you can be coachable and teachable, you will become unstoppable. I don't know anything. I don't know how to do a 3-way call. I don't know how to prospect. I do not know how to give an effective presentation. I do not know how to share the vision. I do not know how to do a lifeline. I do not know how to do a business briefing. I do not know how to do a webinar. That is the most profitable part of your business. If you can become coachable, teachable, and trainable, I promise you, you will become unstoppable. This is all a part of the 10,000 hours, because when you're paying this 10,000 hours, ladies and gentlemen, you can go from disaster to master. Yeah. You can go from disaster to master. You can go from contender to champion if you remain coachable. The second phase you're going to go through in this business is I know everything. I know everything. I know everything. I know how to do a meeting. I know how to do a 3-way call. Listen, I got it. I don't need my upline. I don't need you at my meetings. I don't need to do lifelines with you. I'm running the show. I got it. Move out the way. I got it. I'm the man. I'm the woman. I know everything. And typically the I know everything phase kicks in when people start earning $10,000 to $20,000 a month. Between that 10 to 20 to 30, sometimes not even 30, but right at that 10, 15, $20,000 a month mark, I know everything. I got it. Get out the way. Nope, I don't need you at my meetings. Nope, I don't need you to do three-way calls. Nope, I don't even, listen, I don't even need to talk to you. I know more than you. I've got it figured out. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm raising my hand because I've been guilty. I've been guilty to slide into the phase of, I know everything. I got it. I'm just as gifted as you. I'm just as talented as you. I can speak. I'm a great orator, just as good as you, probably even better. Okay? You get to that place and you know everything. This is how you know you're in that phase. Are you ready? This is how you know when a person's in that phase. You come to a session, if you even come, to a training, to an event, and you hadn't taken one note. You come to a session and watch this, you start critiquing every leader that grows across the stage. Start critiquing them. Oh, she didn't sound, he didn't. You start criticizing, complaining, and condemning. That's the I know everything phase. I can do it better than him. And what happens with many of us in that phase, we begin to underestimate the task. You begin to underestimate what it's taken a person to accomplish to get to where they are. Because I know everything. You don't promote when you're in the I know everything phase. Listen, you don't promote your upline's events. You only promote yours. Been there. Guilty. Why? Why would I promote my upline's events? I know more than them. Yeah, they out-earn me, but they're only out-earning me because they're making money off of me. I know everything. Telling you. I've been there before. So you go from I don't know anything. That's when there's unison. That's when there's a universal law of honor in operation. That's when, as a leader, you're talking. Have you noticed that when your check was growing, it typically was because leadership was flowing? I just said a mouthful. Y'all give me some hearts. Share that somewhere. That I need to pause just for that. Remember that. Typically, your income is growing when leadership is flowing. That's so rich. Typically, your income was growing when leadership was flowing. To flow. It flows. That's prospering. Prospering. To flow. It means in the flow. I've come to realize, ladies and gentlemen, and this is just my wife and I, our personal philosophy, when it is man, it is forced. When it's God, it flows. When it is man, it's forced. I mean, I've gotten to the point in my career that if I talk to you about the business, I share our products, I share our vision, I don't do a whole bunch of following up with you. No. For what? No. My story is going to follow up with you. What do I mean by my story? My story of what we're doing and the flow that we're in, of the people that what we're doing resonates, the vision resonates, the leadership resonates, that's going to follow up with you. That's when you're in the flow. You only grow when you get in the flow. When it is man is forced. And it typically, hear me, it typically becomes forced in the second phase of your business. When you're in the second phase, remember phase one, I don't know anything. Doesn't mean I'm stupid. It may just mean I'm ignorant. Ignorant means I do not know. Maybe I've been successful in one business and I'm coming to this business. Of course, there are transferable truths. Of course, there are transferable hours. But there's some nuances to this particular business that I must submit myself. I must humble myself to learn as a leader. See, leaders learn. Leaders are humble enough to learn. Now, understand, humility is not stupidity. I'm not saying be stupid. Humility is not stupidity. But leaders are humble enough to learn. Now, here's what happens. You get into phase two. I know everything. And if you are a person that can repent. Yeah. That word repent, this is not a religious word. The origination of that word means to change your thinking. To repent. To change the way you think. To repent means, let's say I'm going down the highway and I'm attempting to get to somewhere. And I'm going down the highway maybe 60, 70 miles an hour. And I notice that I cannot get to my destination going down this highway. I have to go the opposite direction. Here's what I must do. I must repent. It means I must exit in the opposite direction. I must exit in the wrong direction and make a U-turn. If many of us could repent, meaning we could exit and make a U-turn, we could get to phase 3. Many people as leaders, you know what we do? We're trying to get to the right destination using the wrong direction. You can't get to the right destination heading in the wrong direction. And so pride sometimes does not allow us to exit to make the U-turn. That's why we stay stuck in phase 2. And then here's what we do. As leaders, we start talking to people that are stuck in the same direction. They ain't qualifying, and neither are you. Now, it's not even just bad enough not to requalify, because I've been there before where, we built the business, people start leaving, people start quitting, people start getting distracted, and we weren't requalifying our position anymore. We had gone national. We're the fastest nationals in the company as far as I'm aware of. We did it in our first 48 days. Boom, nationals. First 48 days. And that was beautiful. It was wonderful. But 2 months later, we weren't even qualifying as nationals anymore. We were requalifying, hear me, we're probably requalifying as regionals. And there are a few weeks, that we were requalifying as executive directors. Yeah. The big nationals. 48-day nationals. Yeah. The guys that broke the record and blah, blah, blah. Got one of the fastest growing teams, one of the newest success stories in the company. We weren't requalifying national. I venture to think we weren't requalifying because we were in phase 2. Shucks. Y'all give me some hearts for this transparency. See, there can be no trust without transparency. Did you hear me? There can be no trust without transparency. Trust is the currency for leadership. In other words, people cannot trust you unless they can trace you. That's one of the characteristics I look for in people that I'm partnered with. Can I trust you? Are you stable? Are you certain? Are you a statue? Or do you change? You know why they call them statues, or the Statue of Liberty? The Statue of Liberty is called a statue because the Statue of Liberty is the same in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. The Statue of Liberty, she doesn't move. She's stable. You can trust her. The alphabets, we call them statues. Why? Because A is A at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. A is still A at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's statue. Are you that stable? Are you that certain? Not rigid, not arthritic in your mind. I'm not saying you don't have the nimbleness of mind and the liquidity of thought to be able to flow and to be able to grow. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, can we trust you? That's leadership. It is the currency to lead. Not you saying one thing in front of my face, then behind the back you're plotting and you're ploying to destroy, to sabotage, to put people against each other, to have leaders competing against each other. It's not leadership. Here's the people you got to identify. You have to identify, there are 5 types of people you have to identify. The first people are unmotivatable. Write it down. Unmotivatable. We cannot do anything to motivate you. You're unmotivatable. Because this, if you get what I'm saying, you will get from phase 2 to phase 3, which is I now realize I do not know everything. I now realize that I do not know everything. I don't care how much I've earned. And let me say this too. Just because you earn more or just because you make more doesn't mean you know more. Yeah, even a broken clock is right at least twice a day. There's some people, believe it or not, in our wonderful profession that are making more money than they've earned. There's some people that are making more money than they've actually earned. Now, I'm not coming for anybody. I'm not shooting shots. You know, we're living in a postmodern day society where when you tell truth, they call it you shooting shots. I'm not shooting shots. I'm telling the truth. The truth, here's Jim Rohn. He says the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. First people you got to identify are the ones that are unmotivatable. We cannot do anything to motivate you. There's nothing we can say. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing, there's no book you're going to read that's going to motivate these people. There's no CD series you can give to them that they'll listen to and become motivated. That word motive or motivated is actually the motive for action, to motivate. There's a motive for activation. If you don't have motivation, I can't give it to you. No leader can give you motivation. You have to already be motivated. You're getting on the conference calls. You're getting on the trainings. You're coming to the events. You're prospecting 2 to 5 new people a day. You're having conversations to acquire new customers and new representatives or new IBOs into your company. You're motivated. You're studying. You're practicing. You're beating on your craft. Listen to me. You will always be celebrated publicly for what you've practiced on privately. Did you hear me? You will always be celebrated publicly for what you've practiced on privately. See, the reason why you get celebrated publicly is because of the hours that you worked privately. The people that do not work on themselves privately are unmotivatable. Do not invest your time with these people. They're not a part of your team. They may be a part of the group, but they are certainly not a part of the team. There's a difference between the group and the team. The team talks to you. The team calls you. The team connects with you. The team is constantly in communication, close communication with the coach. Oh, shucks, I said something. The team is always in close communication with the coach. Can I ask you a question? When was the last time you communicated with the coach? When's the last time you communicated with the coach? When's the last time y'all texted one another? Well, I'm waiting for my coach to call me. Baby, you're going to be on the bench. And if you're not too careful, you're going to be off the team. Well, I just go to another company. Okay. If you take those same principles with you, guess what? You will be on somebody else's bench in another company. Why? Here's the thing I know about people. You take you wherever you go. Are you listening to me? Unmotivatable. We can do nothing to motivate you. There's nothing we can say. There's nowhere we could go. We can take you dream building and you will be so pessimistic about the dream building experience. We could take you to go sit in a new car, a new home. You'll be so pessimistic about that. We could talk about new products coming out. Oh, the last products didn't work. We could come up with new this and new that. And guess what? You're unmotivatable. Second people you got to identify is unmotivated. They do not have a desire to move on and create results at this time. They do not have the desire to move on. Oh, that's good. Do you desire to move on? I mean, how long are you going to be stuck at associate? Huh? How long are you going to be stuck dangling at director? How long are you going to incubate at executive and regional director? How long are you going to stay parked at national director? How long are you going to gripe at global? Now, I'm not putting pressure on you to move on. You can stay right where you are. I call you an incubator. But these are unmotivated people. People that are in park. You know something? Life sometimes will put you in park. Yeah. Sometimes life, if you're not careful, life will put you in park. Something happened. Somebody said something. Something didn't go your way. Something you were not expecting took place. Your legs flipped. People left the business. Product didn't come out. Something did not take place in the market. Somebody, did something in your team or in your organization. And that's life. Man, I'm telling you, life will cause you to take the gears out of drive and put it in park. And there's so many people that are unmotivated because they've allowed circumstances and situations to cause them to park. What do you do with unmotivated people? You love them alone. Would you write that? Would you put that on the screen there? Would you tag somebody in that? Love them alone. See, as a leader, you must lead in love. As a leader, you must be willing to love some people alone. Doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean they're not great people. It just means in this season that they're parked, and you can't steer a parked car. They're unmotivated. There's nothing that can happen. There's nothing, when people are unmotivated, they will become offended with your progress. When people are unmotivated, if you're not careful as a leader, you can offend people by telling them the good that's happening in your life. Because what they see is they're in park and cars are still going by. I don't know if you've ever had a flat tire and you had a place to get to, but you had to pull over and park, put on your hazards, and cars are going by, and they're going by so fast that you hear the boom, boom. And sometimes it can even shake your car, and many times, if you're not careful, your attitude would cause you to be like, slow down. You yelling at them to slow down because you're in park. Unmotivated people. Unmotivated people, you got to be careful not to sit in the seat of the scornful. Oh, shucks. I'm in the scripture now. You cannot sit in the seat of the scornful. And typically the people that are scornful are unmotivated. They won't tell you the truth because they don't want to walk in the truth. Hand up again. I've been there. I've been there where circumstance and situation, life happens. And then, you know what we do? We start blaming other people. This is leadership. I'm talking leadership tonight. We start blaming other people for why we are where we are. Yeah. Unmotivated. Now, you don't even get on the calls anymore. Unmotivated. You look, the text messages of a conference call or of an event, hear me, they aggravate you. Oh, another call. Oh, another meeting. Oh, they need to do this. Oh, they need to do that. Whenever you start pointing the finger at the days, unmotivated. You have fallen into that category. Third category, motivatable. They want it. These are people that want it. Motivatable. Oh, I love the motivatable. These are people that you can motivate. These are people that you can inspire. These are people you can show your back office to. These are people you can tell, I just sponsored my 68th person. These are people you can have conversations with because although, here it is, although they're going below the speed limit, they have the tendency and the proclivity to want to step up and step on the accelerator of their business. They want to go the speed limit. They want to get in the fast lane. They're just looking for leadership. They want to hitch their wagon on to somebody that knows the way. See, a leader knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. A leader, a true leader, knows the way, shows the way, and then goes the way. That's true leadership. So the motivatable, these are people that have a desire. Oh man, I couldn't wait to get to the next event. I was motivatable. I didn't have the influence at the time. I didn't have the big results, but I was motivatable. Oh, I would sit there and I would see how the gentlemen that were leading, how they dressed. I would see they had their shirts monogrammed. I was like, oh, they've got their initials on there. Oh, that means they're rich. Where do I get that from? Oh, that's a custom-made shirt? Okay, I don't have the money for a custom-made shirt. Let me research. Oh, I was motivatable. Let me research where I can go buy a shirt from Suitmark, from K&G that looks like it's custom. And let me go find a place that does embroidery. Let me put my initials on there. Why? Because I was motivatable. Oh, Jared, that's so superficial. Oh, it doesn't take all that. Maybe that's why we have the results we have. And some people don't have the results they want. Motivatable. I couldn't wait to get to the events. I looked at how they walked, how the leaders talked, how they interacted, their breath. I never forget. I saw one of the leaders pull out the little breath strip after he had finished presenting. He pulled out the breath strip, put it in. I was like, oh, he's doing that because he doesn't want to offend people when he's speaking to them in close proximity. Let me go buy some of those. So now, every time I'm done speaking, boom, I put that in my mouth. Boom, I'm ready, so I can speak to them. I smelled the aroma of what they had on. Oh, they smell good. Okay, yeah, okay, they dress. Okay, those are the colors. They're in black suits and white shirts. Okay, because white pops. Okay, they got a nice tie. Okay, oh, shoes. The shoes look good. Okay, they're not turned over. They're not. I was motivatable. I paid attention to details. The drama unfolds in the details. I looked at how they dress because you will be addressed how you dress. You will always be addressed how you're dressed. I looked at how they dressed, how they put themselves together. I listened to what they said they were reading. I watched how they treat their spouse. And anytime I could get into proximity, because listen to me, write this down and never forget it. Greatness is contagious. Greatness is contagious. I walked around them. I wanted to be around their atmosphere. I wanted to be around their essence so I can learn because I fell under the category of motivatable. I was motivatable. The next category, they're motivated. Yeah. Motivated means I've got the skill set. I have the influence. I can do a presentation. I know people. People know me. They like me. They trust me. I can sponsor people into the business. I don't mind doing presentations. I'll drive the miles. I'll get on planes to go show the plan. I'll travel across the seas. We're getting ready to go across the seas again. Why? Because we are motivated. We, as motivated people, you run with the runners. Run with the runners. Walk with the walkers, and those standing still, you love them alone. See, my phone is always full of text messages with motivatables and motivated. I'm on the phone constantly with motivatable and motivated. Well, Jared, you haven't called me to check on me. No. Why? Well, you don't know what's going on in my life. Whose fault is that? Well, Jared, you only care about my volume. I was rich before you joined. Well, Jared, you got to care about the people. Match my giving. Huh? Yeah. Match my giving. How much did you give to church and charity in 2017? If it wasn't six figures, be seated. How many people did you assist, coach, and mentor in 2017? Huh? Oh, okay. How many people have become six-figure earners and $50,000 ring earners that are part of your team in 2017? Not 2014, not 2015. I'm talking about like currently. Huh? Okay. How many new directors have you promoted in new legs of business in 2017? That's why my phone and my time is reserved for the motivated and the motivatable. Time is a commodity. Huh? Time is a commodity. It is one of the most precious commodities that we have. I never give my most precious commodity to people that have been proven to not care about it. Why would I be on the phone with unmotivatable people? Why would I invest time with the unmotivated? You're not going to do anything anyway. So me talking to you is a waste of my life. And I hope you buy into these philosophies. Oh, Jared, that sounds so mean. No, just because a person means business doesn't mean they're mean. I tell people all the time that success principles are easy to find. They're just hard to follow. Talking about leadership. Success principles are easy to find. They're just hard to follow. Jared will prove it. There was a woman. I was telling a buddy of mine this the other day. I think it was yesterday we were talking. And I was telling him about this woman that was motivated. See, the final phase is motivators. The motivators just get out of our way. Oh, I love the motivators. Whoo, there's nothing. See, the totality of my business, of the vision of my business, is to have several motivators. Dozens of motivators. Because they don't come a dime a dozen. But dozens of motivators. They're running their own businesses. They're running they're doing their own events. They're doing their own calls. They're doing their own webinars. They've got their own teams, their own leaders. Abstract of me. I'm not even involved unless they reach out to me and say, hey, Mr. Wilkins, can you do this? Can you partner with me on this? Can we do this together? Outside of that, we just have leadership type conversations and we enjoy each other's company. There's nothing like having motivators a part of your team. You want to work yourself out of the motivated and motivatable to be a motivator. Get out their way. I don't want them, saying Jared Wilkins and Portia Wilkins are the man. And I'm not saying dishonor us, but I'm saying I want them. See, when you have motivators, people are doing to them what they used to do with you. Why? Because they're the motivators. They're the big man. They're the big woman. Yes, see, when you have motivators, you get freedom. I learned that from a mentor of mine, Jet, a long time ago. Oh, it resonated with me. He says, man, I play basketball all day if I want to. And I go snorkeling. I go swimming. I go do, I just built my mother. He had just built his mother a school in the name of his mother, in his mother's name. He had just given $1 million to a school. He was doing world things. He was traveling around the world, enjoying his life. And he says the reason why is because he had motivators. They weren't wearing Jet is the man t-shirts. They were wearing their motivators t-shirts and their motivators visions and all of that because he had worked himself to a position where he was not needed. That's my objective. But in the meantime, as you're building and you find the motivated, I was talking about this woman to a buddy of mine. And this woman, it's interesting when I heard the story and when I tell the story, because this woman, we don't even know her name. Would you just pause parenthetically right there? I want you to write this down. Write it down on the screen. Write it down on some paper. Write it down. Just because you don't know my name does not mean I'm not next. Just because you don't know my name doesn't mean I'm not next. This woman, we never hear her name uttered. Why am I talking about her as I close? Because I'm talking about her because I want to give you an example of somebody that fell into the category of motivated. And the story says this woman had been dealing with an issue for 12 years. She had been bleeding. She had been dealing with an issue of blood. I mean, that's how they described her in the story, as a woman. She is a woman dealing with an issue. Can I ask you a question? How many of us are women dealing with an issue? How many of us are men simply dealing with an issue? It's not a different issue. It's the same issue. Some of us have been dealing with the same issue in our career for the last year. Some of us have been dealing with the same issue, not a different one, the same one. You haven't even dealt with this issue to move on to the next issue. You've been dealing with the same issue for the last 15 years in your network marketing career. You've been dealing with the same issue for the last 10 years. This woman had been dealing with the same issue for 12 years. Now hear me. She had seen different soothsayers, different physicians. She had gone out. This is how you know she's motivated. She didn't just deal with the issue. She didn't just have the issue and not deal with it. There's some people that have an issue but choose not to address it. There's some people that have been dealing with an issue and choose not to seek help, that choose not to go find a solution. By the way, I want you to write this down. People don't fire solutions. Did you hear me? People do not fire solutions. They fire problems. Yeah, I clap for myself on that one. But this woman been dealing with this issue. How do I know she's motivated, Jared? Because she's been seeking for a solution for 12 years to the same problem. Well, Jared, she went to physicians. She went to specialists, and they couldn't fix her. I was telling my buddy, we don't know her name, but we do know she's motivated. She's motivated because she's going around attempting to get rid of something that is bothering her. See, you're not motivated until you're not motivated until you get up from where you fell down. Yeah, I know you fell. I know the volume fell down, but you're not motivated if you stay down. One author says you get knocked down 8 times, you stand up 9. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It is the size of the fight in the dog. So here this woman is. I want you to write it down. She's leading while bleeding. Did you hear me? Sometimes you have to lead. You've got to lead even while you're bleeding. Even though they're piercing you in the side, even though they're talking about you, even though they're demonizing, even though they have forgotten all that you've done for them, you still got to lead while you bleed. Even though they've betrayed you, even though it doesn't feel right, even though you don't want to do it, even though you've gotten to the place like Fannie Lou Hamer where you're saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, you still got to lead while you bleed. She gets word that there's a solution in town. I don't know if, I don't even know how she got the word. The story doesn't tell us how she got the word. It just says she got the word that there was a way. Can I say something to you? You're always a word away. Yeah. You're one word away from your next level. You're one word away from going from director to executive director. You're one word away from going from executive to regional, from regional to national, from national to global, from global to ambassador, from ambassador to executive ambassador. You're one word away. And here's what we find in the story. She hears the word that there's a man that has her way. Now she could have been pessimistic. She could have been one of us that become so beat up and so drawn out that we now slip out of motivated. to unmotivated or unmotivatable after years of paying the price, after years of suffering from the same issue. I can't get to the next level. I've been at this for years. I've never made $10,000 in a month, or I've been at this for years. I have never made $1,000 in a month. I've been at this for years. I haven't made $100,000 in a year. I've been at this for years, and I can't seem how to get to $1 million a year. And I see all these other people getting healed. I see all these other people succeeding. I see all these other people winning. You can get to a place in your life, in your career, where you say, you know what? I don't want it anymore. I'm just going to sit in my bed and die. But she got the word. And the story says she gets up. That's how you know she's motivated. She gets up and goes to where he is. I'm finishing, y'all. She goes to where he is. See, you're going to have to get up from where you are. You're going to have to get up from where it fell. You're going to have to get up from where things fell apart. You're going to have to get up from where it flipped. You're going to have to get up from where you are and go find where he is. Who is he, that next recruit? Who is she, that next recruit? You're going to have to get up and go. Places are more important than people. That's why God created places before he created people. But she gets up after she got the word. It's no good to just hear the word. You got to do the word. She gets up from where she is because she heard it and she went. Can you imagine? Can you see her? She gets the word. She's dealing with the issue. She bundles it up. She puts on some clothes. And she begins her journey to where he is. She gets up from where she is and she begins her process of where he is. In spite of what has taken place, in spite of what has happened, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of the fallout, in spite of the attrition, in spite of what's been said, in spite of them saying there is no cure. And before she gets up, whatever they said to her must have been so good. That's why you got to be careful how you talk about people. This is the importance of edification. Whatever they said about him caused her to set up in her mind an establishment of faith. She says, if I can touch the hem of his garment, I know I will be made whole. I will be healed. This is what she's saying. She hadn't even left yet. She hadn't even gotten out to bed yet. This is what she says. See, it begins in your mind. If you can win the battles in your mind, you can win the battle in your life. She says it in her mind and she gets up and goes. Now hear me. Shucks, this is so rich. She doesn't say, if he knows my name, I'll be made whole. She doesn't say, if I shake his hand. She doesn't say if I get a private audience. She says if I touch the hem. What is the hem? The hem is the garment. It's the bottom of it's on the bottom of his feet. He used to walk wherever he went. He didn't have a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or a Maserati. He didn't fly on private planes. He walked wherever he went to go show the plan. So the hem is the dirtiest part that's attached to him. The hem is the dirtiest part attached to him. Here was her confession. If I can touch not him, but if I can touch what's connected to him, I will be made whole. As the story ends, I'm so fired up and so enriched with it because it gives me so much joy and so much peace in knowing the process is there. The promise is there if you're willing to grow through the process. She gets there. It doesn't say she had help getting there. It doesn't say her upline built her left and her upline placed something on her right. It doesn't say any of that. It said she got up and gets through the crowd, meaning there were hundreds of other people around him. But can you see her in her weakened condition? She's not weak, but she has a condition that's weak. She fights through the crowd and she touches his hem. And at that moment, he stops. This is interesting to me. Everything stops. He stops in the middle of it. And here's Jesus. He says, who touched me? There's hundreds of people around him. You know people were touching him. And you know how they try to do. Give me an autograph. Let me take a picture. Let me take a ussy. Let me post it on Instagram. He stopped and said, no. Who touched me? Somebody touched me. Because the story says virtue left his body. Her faith was so strong. She was so motivated that all she had to do was touch something connected to him. And she became a motivator. To this day, thousands of years later, we don't know her name. But what we do know is she was motivated. How do you attract leaders? How do you develop leaders? Become motivated so you can become a motivator. Thank you so much for being on our broadcast. Make sure you share this with people. Share it on your Facebook wall. I need you to share it. If it resonated, I need you to share it. Why do I need you to share it? Because somebody needs to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you are the conduit. You are that him that's connected so they can be made whole. God bless you. God bless your families. And God most certainly bless your dreams. Good night, everybody.